Hey guys. So today I wanted to talk about Kazuha's kit one day before he goes live. So in case anyone's still wondering what he does and whether you should pull for him, this could help you make a decision. So first, for his normal attacks, it's like any sword uses normal and charged attacks. It basically just does this. Now, for his elemental skill, what it does is it creates a wind current and pulls the enemies closer and then launches Kazuha in the air. And also, if you're jumping, you can tap his skill and it will work like a double jump, and then you can plunge down onto enemies. If you use the elemental skill and plunge down, his plunge will do anemo damage instead of doing the regular physical damage or plunging damage. It'll still be considered plunging damage. Instead of being the white numbers that you usually see, it'll be the green numbers for anemo damage. So if you build him with anemo damage, he'll have more effect. And when you hold his skill, he's launched up and you can plunge down within 10 seconds and it'll do more damage, and it'll be a bigger AoE as well. Now his elemental burst is kind of like Sucrose's skill, just a bigger circle, and Kazuha is the one at the center. And it does anemo damage, or if you are, say, infused with any kind of an element, like here, where Sucrose is infused with Hydro, it'll do Hydro damage. And if it's infused by Pyro, it'll do Pyro damage. So if you're facing multiple opponents, say the Fatuis, and you get hit by the Electro Fatui and get infused with Electro, Kazuha's burst will do Electro damage to all enemies. So you can accordingly use your burst near a Pyro Fatui or any other kind of enemy. Um, there's also his passive talents, where his first passive talent will decrease the sprinting stamina of characters. His second passive talent is even his elemental skill, the plunge. The plunge that he does when he's affected by a certain element, the plunge will do damage relating to that element, pyro, electro, dry, or hydro. And for his third passive talent, when he triggers a swirl reaction, so say he does pyro swirl, he's gonna buff the damage for all the pyro units in the party. So everyone's gonna get extra pyro damage bonus. So he'll work great as a support. Now what his constellations do is his first constellation reduces his cooldown by a little. His second constellation will I think his second constellation is the one where he wait, hang on. So his second passive talent gives him, I believe, 200 elemental mastery, and that's great because then he can buff the damage that he does even more, since swirl and elemental mastery have become OP after this update. Um, his third and fifth passive talents are the same, where his skill and elemental burst get increased by 3 levels. His fourth passive talent is the cooldown. No, I believe it's the energy recharge for the skill and ultimate is increased, and he also gets energy while he's gliding. And his C6 is the higher his elemental mastery, the more damage he does. So like it's an additional damage buff in a way where he can actually be used as a DPS after you get his C6. Now even his ascension stat is elemental mastery, so it's easier to build him for a pure elemental mastery build. So I believe at level 90 he has 115.2 elemental mastery. So I think the way you should build him is the flower and feather. You should focus on elemental mastery in the substats. The hourglass definitely needs to be elemental mastery main stat. The hat also, you can go for elemental mastery as the main stat, and for the goblet you can either go elemental mastery, or you could go for animal damage bonus. I believe elemental mastery there would also be great, because sometimes he does animal damage, sometimes he can do pyro damage or any other elemental damage depending on what element he's been infused with. And as of now, his elemental burst costs 60 energy, so you don't really need to focus too much on ER. Though all of this could change the moment he comes out. They could, Mihoyo could actually change all of his stats and everything a few minutes before he's released as well. But as of now, this is what he does. So I hope this helps someone make a decision. If you want a support, then Kazuha is one of the best supports you can get. Some people think that Kazuha is just basically better Sucrose, but that's not true. You can actually, if you have Sucrose and you run her and you are considering going for Kazuha, know that Kazuha and Sucrose will work really well together, because you can switch to Sucrose, use her skill and burst however she works, because I haven't used Sucrose. As you can see, she's a level 50 and has no artifacts. But you can actually use Sucrose to buff Kazuha's EM, and that will increase the damage and everything he does even more, which means when you switch out and go to your pyro unit, if Kazuha did pyro damage, then he's going to buff them even more. So you can do that. And I think as of now, at least the best set for Kazuha will be 4-piece Viridescent Venerer. I know that there are new artifact sets, but I haven't looked into them, and they could be better for Kazuha. But for now, I believe 4-piece VV is the best. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.